Ever dreamed of retiring by the ocean, only to discover that beachfront condos cost about the same as a small spaceship? Yeah, that stings. But here's the good news. Coastal living doesn't have to drain your savings or chain you to instant ramen for the rest of your days. In this video, we're exploring 10 coastal towns across the U.S. where the sea breeze feels just as sweet, the sunsets look just as dramatic, and the price tags won't make you faint. Stick around, because by the end you'll have a short list of retirement havens that prove living near the shore can actually be affordable. 1. Pensacola, Florida. If you think Florida beaches are all about overpriced condos and traffic jams that rival big city commutes, Pensacola begs to differ. This panhandle gem has sand so white it looks like someone spilled flour along the coast, and the pace is more relaxed than the glossy brochures down south. Life here feels sunny but not showy, like the friend who wears flip-flops to a wedding and still somehow looks cooler than everyone else. The community vibe blends old military roots with a growing art scene, so you'll meet neighbors who can chat about local seafood festivals and the fighter jet that just flew overhead. It's not the kind of place where gossip travels faster than Wi-Fi, but small enough that your barista remembers you like extra whipped cream, even if you loudly claim you're cutting sugar. Downtown has just enough bustle to keep things lively without stealing that porch swing pace. Cost of living is the real treat. Housing prices sit comfortably below the Florida coastal average, so retirees aren't wrestling hedge fund managers for every bungalow. You can imagine affording a place with space for a kayak you'll probably use twice before realizing paddling is harder than Instagram promised. Groceries, gas, and dining out all lean wallet-friendly too, which makes the occasional splurge on oysters feel downright responsible. Amenities hold up surprisingly well. Healthcare is strong, bolstered by the military presence, and you'll find cultural stops like the Saenger Theater hosting Broadway shows on their way between bigger markets. Add in quirky antique shops, seafood shacks that take fresh seriously, and the occasional Mardi Gras parade that makes you wonder if you overshot into Louisiana and daily life never feels dull. Nature does the heavy lifting here. Beyond the beaches, there are pine forests, shady trails, and more fishing holes than you'll ever need. Winters are mild, summers are hot, but softened by ocean breezes, and you quickly learn the local sport of guessing if that cloud means rain or just dramatic skies for your sunset walk. Pensacola's magic lies in its blend of small-town warmth with big beach beauty, all without South Florida sticker shock. The only drawback? Tourists swarm in summer, so yes, you'll occasionally stand behind sunburned college kids ordering neon daiquiris. But honestly, that's a small trade-off for living in a coastal town where paradise actually feels affordable. 2. Corpus Christi, Texas. Corpus Christi doesn't advertise itself as a glossy retirement haven, and that's exactly the appeal. This Gulf Coast city sits between beachy and practical, where refineries share the skyline with sailboats, and life feels more like your favorite pair of jeans than a designer suit. The bay spreads wide and calm, and breezy evenings practically insist you sit back and wonder why you ever tolerated bumper-to-bumper commutes. The community is a mix of lifelong Texans, snowbirds who insist they're just here for winter, and families who have fished these waters for generations. Conversations spark in grocery store lines, and before you know it, you've heard someone's entire family history while your ice cream quietly melts. It's welcoming without being overbearing, the sort of place where homemade tamales arrive at your door before anyone even remembers your last name. And if you're new in town, expect at least one neighbor to test your spice tolerance within the first week. Affordability is Corpus Christi's ace card. Housing costs land well below most coastal markets, so water views don't demand billionaire budgets. Property taxes may be Texas-sized, but the absence of a state income tax often leaves retirees ahead. Day-to-day expenses stretch nicely too, so splurging on shrimp the size of your forearm feels like smart shopping rather than reckless spending. Even dining out regularly won't send you scrambling for coupons. Amenities don't disappoint. Healthcare is strong, the local university adds cultural spark, and shops cover everything from sunscreen to cowboy boots you swore you'd never wear. The Texas State Aquarium and the USS Lexington keep both tourists and grandkids entertained, while doubling as backdrops that make your "I actually live here" photos pop. Even though Houston is a few hours away, life here never feels cut off. Nature sets the rhythm. Padre Island National Seashore is practically next door. Birdwatchers gush over the migrations, and anglers treat the bay like their second living room. Summers occasionally feel like stepping into a hairdryer, but breezes off the Gulf soften the sting. Winters stay mild enough that you'll brag about grilling in January while friends up north chip ice off their windshields. Corpus Christi's magic lies in that rare mix of affordability and direct Gulf access. The small catch? When the wind really kicks in, your beach picnic can double as a sandblasting session. Still, free exfoliation is a bargain price for living on the water without emptying your savings. 3. Daytona Beach, Florida. Daytona Beach has a reputation for wild spring break crowds and roaring race cars, but retirees know there's a quieter side to this Atlantic town. Beyond the headlines, you'll find miles of sandy shoreline, a relaxed coastal pace, and neighborhoods where mornings are more about sunrise walks than fast engines. The ocean backdrop gives everything a bit of drama, even if the most thrilling part of your day is choosing between grouper sandwiches or key lime pie. Community life here feels like a patchwork quilt, stitched together with long-timers, seasonal visitors, and newcomers who came for a vacation and never bothered leaving. It's big enough to offer plenty of social groups and clubs, but small enough that you'll end up saying hi to the same folks when you grab coffee on Tuesday as you did on Friday. Retirees often joke that everyone here has at least one "my first Daytona 500" story, even if they've never set foot near the track. Affordability is Daytona's hidden treasure. Housing prices remain more accessible than many of Florida's coastal counterparts, so owning a condo with an ocean view isn't just fantasy. The cost of living keeps pace, making everyday expenses like dining and groceries manageable on a fixed income. Retirees can stretch their dollars here without feeling like they're on a never-ending budget boot camp. Amenities are plentiful for a city of its size. Healthcare options are strong, and you've got cultural highlights like the Peabody Auditorium and the Museum of Arts and Sciences to keep things lively. Add in plenty of shopping, restaurants that actually take seafood seriously, and a steady lineup of festivals, and you've got the kind of variety that keeps retirement from turning into reruns. The climate is classic Florida, with hot summers, warm breezes, and mild winters that make outdoor living an easy default. The Atlantic Ocean brings its own rhythm, from surfers chasing waves to quiet mornings where pelicans dive like it's an Olympic sport. Yes, you'll occasionally wrestle with humidity, but there's a reason locals keep beach chairs in their trunks like it's a mandatory accessory. Daytona Beach's unique charm is this balance of action and relaxation. The one downside? Every so often, your peaceful beach stroll gets interrupted by a very loud motorcycle rally. But if you can handle the occasional vroom vroom soundtrack, you'll find a coastal retirement town that feels lively without being impossible to afford. 4. Mobile, Alabama. Mobile often gets overshadowed by its flashier Gulf Coast neighbors, but this Alabama port city has a quiet confidence that wins people over. It's the birthplace of Mardi Gras in America. And yes, locals will remind you of that fact with the same pride someone else might brag about their alma mater. The city is draped in live oaks and dripping Spanish moss, giving even an ordinary walk downtown the kind of charm travel brochures wish they could bottle. The community vibe is unmistakably Southern, but with a twist of coastal flair. Folks are warm and chatty, but the conversations are more likely to involve crawfish boils or who makes the best gumbo than your personal business. Retirees find it easy to slip into the rhythm, whether joining a church choir, volunteering at festivals, or simply learning the fine art of politely declining a third slice of pecan pie. And if you're new in town, it won't be long before someone tries to convince you their grandmother's recipe is the only real jambalaya. Cost of living here is another pleasant surprise. Housing prices run well below the national coastal average, and retirees can land a charming historic home without emptying their savings. Everyday expenses, from groceries to a plate of fried oysters, are gentle on the wallet. It's one of those cities where you can treat yourself often and still feel responsible. Amenities are solid for a mid-sized city. Mobile has several hospitals, a university that fuels arts and culture, and a lively downtown lined with galleries, restaurants, and shops. History buffs won't be disappointed either. The USS Alabama battleship sits proudly as both museum and conversation starter. Nature and climate are another bonus. Winters are mild, springs are lush, and the nearby bay and delta offer fishing, kayaking, and birdwatching galore. The summers can be sticky, but shady oak trees and breezes off the Gulf keep things manageable. Plus, dolphins make regular appearances in the bay, and they always seem to show up right when you left your camera at home. Mobile's unique spark is its blend of Southern tradition and coastal energy, with enough Mardi Gras flair to keep life festive year-round. The only drawback? When festival season hits, you may find yourself knee-deep in beads you don't remember catching. But honestly, there are worse problems than too many souvenirs from a town that loves to celebrate. 5. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Myrtle Beach wears its coastal personality loudly, like that cousin who brings a karaoke machine to family gatherings. The boardwalk stretches along the Atlantic with neon lights, arcades, and the smell of fried dough drifting through the air. But beyond the tourist glitz, retirees discover a surprisingly livable city, with neighborhoods tucked away from the buzz, where the ocean soundtrack is seagulls and waves instead of carnival rides. The community here is social to its core. Myrtle Beach thrives on interaction, whether it's church potlucks, dance nights at the senior center, or retirees casually debating which local golf course deserves the crown. You don't have to be an athlete to fit in, though you may find yourself nodding along when someone brags about owning more golf clubs than socks. The vibe is outgoing but relaxed, like a friendly handshake that turns into a long chat on the porch. Affordability is another pleasant surprise. Housing prices remain reasonable compared to many East Coast shorelines, giving retirees a chance at beach access without the Manhattan mortgage vibes. Groceries, utilities, and entertainment won't break the bank either, and the occasional splurge on funnel cake or fresh seafood feels like part of the retirement plan. It's one of those places where your money stretches almost as far as the beach itself. Amenities are plentiful, thanks to Myrtle Beach's popularity as both a tourist destination and a growing retirement hub. You'll find hospitals, shopping centers, and plenty of restaurants that serve more than just vacation food. The local arts scene, small theaters, and year-round festivals make it easy to stay busy. And if family visits are on the horizon, you'll never run out of attractions to keep grandkids entertained, though expect them to demand repeat rides on the giant Ferris wheel. Nature balances out the neon. The beach itself is long and wide, perfect for quiet morning walks once the crowds disperse. Inland, you'll find salt marshes, wildlife preserves, and hiking trails where the soundtrack shifts from carnival music to chirping crickets. Summers bring humidity thick enough to make your hair attempt experimental science projects, but winters are mild and forgiving. Myrtle Beach's unique charm is the blend of non-stop entertainment and everyday affordability. The one catch? Tourist season can make retirees feel like extras in a never-ending flip-flop parade. Still, once the crowds thin, the city's easygoing spirit shines through, proving that coastal fun doesn't have to come with a coastal price tag. 6. Galveston, Texas. Galveston has that slightly eccentric coastal charm, like a historic novel left out in the salt air, colorful, weathered, and full of stories. The island city is known for its Victorian architecture, with houses painted in cheerful shades that look like they belong in a children's storybook, only sturdier and hurricane-ready. Walking downtown, you'll see elegant mansions alongside locals zipping past on golf carts, as if that's the most ordinary commute in the world. The community is proud of its resilience. Residents swap storm stories the way others compare vacation photos, but the overall vibe is warm and welcoming. There's a culture of neighbors helping neighbors, often over seafood boils so messy they probably deserve a warning label. Retirees get pulled in quickly, whether through art walks, fishing tournaments, or simply swapping sunscreen tips in midsummer. And if you linger long enough, someone will try to convince you their family recipe for gumbo could win medals. Affordability is another Galveston win. Housing costs sit below many coastal hotspots, and it's still possible to snag a cottage within earshot of the Gulf without billionaire credentials. Day-to-day costs stretch nicely, so shrimp po' boys and fresh oysters don't require a financial spreadsheet. Just budget a little for rust prevention, because salt air and cars have a complicated relationship. Amenities cover the essentials without losing charm. There are hospitals, clinics, and a branch of the University of Texas medical system for peace of mind. Shopping ranges from quirky antique stores to everyday groceries, and the cultural life runs on festivals, theaters, and live music. It's not a metropolis, but it rarely feels like you're missing out unless you need a designer boutique on every corner. Nature stays front and center. The beaches are wide and sandy, and the Gulf waters stay warm most of the year. Birdwatchers flock here almost as eagerly as the birds themselves, and fishing is practically a year-round sport. Summers bring plenty of humidity, and storms sometimes crash the party. But evenings reward you with sunsets so dramatic they could pass for special effects. Sometimes they're so vivid you catch yourself checking if someone turned on a filter. Galveston's unique spark is its mix of historic character and easy coastal living. The one drawback? Pelicans act like they own the piers, glaring if you get too close to their fish. Still, sharing space with bossy birds feels like a fair trade for affordable island life with a colorful past. 7. Virginia Beach, Virginia. Virginia Beach is where coastal living meets military grit, and somehow the combo works. The long boardwalk stretches beside the Atlantic, with bikers, walkers, and rollerbladers competing for space like it's a slow-motion race. Retirees like that, the city feels big enough to offer options, but small enough that you can still find a quiet patch of sand without needing GPS. Watching the sunrise here comes with the bonus of knowing someone else is stuck in traffic far away. The community vibe is shaped by both the military presence and longtime locals. Jets from nearby bases sometimes roar overhead, turning small talk into a round of "What did you just say?" But residents treat it like background music. Retirees can tap into everything from civic clubs to fishing groups, and friendly debates about which seafood shack reigns supreme can stretch longer than the dinner line itself. And yes, you'll quickly learn that locals take their crab boils almost as seriously as college football. Cost of living is balanced for a city with so much coastline. Housing prices sit below many East Coast hotspots, with choices ranging from beach condos to quieter inland neighborhoods. Groceries and dining are reasonable enough that crab cakes feel like an everyday treat instead of a financial gamble. Taxes aren't the lowest, but the trade-off is a lifestyle that rarely feels pinched. Amenities are a strong point. Virginia Beach has a solid healthcare network, cultural venues like the Sandler Center for the Performing Arts, and shopping that covers all the essentials. Festivals run year-round, from art shows to live music, so your calendar can be as busy or relaxed as you want. And somewhere along the way, someone will rope you into line dancing, whether you signed up or not. Nature never feels far. Besides the oceanfront, there are Chesapeake Bay beaches, state parks, and trails where retirees trade walking sticks for binoculars. Birdwatching is practically a sport, with herons and ospreys swooping like they're auditioning for a nature documentary. Summers are warm and breezy, winters are mild, and every so often a stubborn nor'easter swings through just to keep things interesting. Virginia Beach's unique spark is its balance of coastal fun with year-round livability. The only drawback? Traffic spikes during peak summer weekends, testing everyone's patience. Still, if waiting behind out-of-towners is the price of living where sand and culture mingle so easily, it's a fair trade. 8. Jacksonville, Florida. Jacksonville is huge, so big that locals joke it takes 2 zip codes just to visit a neighbor. Stretching along the Atlantic with riverfront neighborhoods, sprawling suburbs, and a downtown on the rise, the city gives retirees coastal access without coastal sticker shock. It's a blend of sandy beaches, shady parks, and enough golf courses to keep even the most restless retiree busy. The sheer size means you can pick a lifestyle that fits, whether it's surfboards, fishing poles, or simply a porch chair with a breeze. Community life is as varied as the geography. Some neighborhoods feel like small towns tucked inside the city, while others pulse with urban energy. Retirees find plenty of clubs and groups to join, and there's always a football conversation happening somewhere. Jaguars fandom is practically a civic duty, even if the team's ups and downs sometimes feel like a patience test worthy of sainthood. Cost of living is one of Jacksonville's strongest draws. Housing prices are lower than in many Florida beach towns, and the variety means you can choose from oceanfront condos to quieter inland homes without maxing out your savings. Groceries, gas, and dining are manageable, so go ahead and splurge on fried shrimp or key lime pie. Florida's lack of state income tax sweetens the deal even more. Amenities are plentiful in a city this size. Healthcare options are wide-ranging, with large hospital systems and specialty centers. The cultural scene includes a symphony, art museums, and theaters covering everything from Shakespeare to local productions. Shopping spans from big box chains to quirky boutiques, and odds are if you can't find it in Jacksonville, you don't actually need it. Nature winds through daily life. The St. Johns River cuts across the city, and the beaches stretch for miles. Trails weave through parks and preserves, and it's not unusual to spot deer or even the occasional gator showing up where you least expect. Summers are hot and humid, but breezes soften the blow, and winters are mild enough to make you forget snow altogether. Jacksonville's unique appeal is the mix of big city amenities with a surprisingly low price tag for coastal living. The only drawback? Because the city is so spread out, even a quick errand can feel like a mini road trip. Still, if your biggest complaint is having too much to explore, retirement's looking pretty good. 9. Biloxi, Mississippi. Biloxi is the Gulf Coast city that mixes old fishing traditions with a splash of casino neon, and somehow it works. Shrimp boats bob in the harbor, slot machines buzz downtown, and sunsets turn everything gold at the end of the day. Retirees find the pace easygoing, with a touch of sparkle from the gaming scene. It's a place where you can grab fresh seafood for dinner, then stroll a pier glowing like a movie set. Community life is down to earth and welcoming. Locals take pride in their seafood heritage, and there's no shortage of festivals celebrating shrimp, gumbo, or oysters. Conversations flow easily, often starting with "Where'd you grow up?" and ending with someone handing you a plate of hush puppies. Casinos bring their own mix of characters, from retirees just here for the buffet to high rollers who look like they stepped out of a soap opera. Affordability is Biloxi's ace in the hole. Housing costs sit well below the national coastal average, and retirees can find comfortable homes without draining their savings. Daily expenses lean gentle too, making it easier to treat yourself without stressing about the bill. Property taxes are reasonable, and Mississippi's overall cost of living leaves room for travel. Amenities are stronger than you might expect from a mid-sized coastal city. There are hospitals, clinics, and specialty centers to keep healthcare steady. The city's casinos double as entertainment hubs, hosting concerts, comedy shows, and the occasional Elvis tribute. Add in museums, theaters, and plenty of local restaurants, and you'll never feel short on things to do. Nature balances out the bright lights. The Gulf waters invite fishing, boating, and beach walks, while barrier islands just offshore make for great day trips. Birdwatchers enjoy spotting herons and gulls squabbling like neighbors over a fence, and the weather stays mild for much of the year. Summer storms can bring thunder so loud it rattles your iced tea glass, but winter rarely demands more than a light jacket. Biloxi's unique spark is its unusual blend of coastal fishing town and casino hub. The one drawback? It's a little too easy to tell yourself you're just donating $20 to the slots for fun. But if you can laugh at the occasional unlucky spin, Biloxi rewards you with an affordable, lively retirement where the Gulf breeze always wins. 10. Port St. Lucie, Florida. Port St. Lucie is one of those Florida cities that sneaks up on you. It doesn't have the loud, touristy vibe of Miami or Orlando, but instead offers a subtler coastal lifestyle that retirees find refreshingly livable. The vibe is bright and easygoing, with palm trees swaying over wide boulevards and neighborhoods that feel designed for slow mornings and late afternoon strolls. You won't find much glitz, but that's the point. Port St. Lucie is a retirement spot that feels grounded. Community life here is busy in the best way. Retirees quickly discover an endless menu of clubs, meetups, and leagues. Pickleball courts are practically everywhere, and locals play with Olympic-level enthusiasm. There's a mix of longtime Floridians and newcomers, which gives the city a welcoming energy. Before long, you'll be debating golf swings with neighbors you met only yesterday. Affordability is a huge selling point. Housing prices are lower than in South Florida's flashier coastal towns, making it possible to snag a comfortable home without selling off the grandkids' inheritance. Groceries, utilities, and dining are reasonable too, so you can enjoy nights out without any buyer's remorse. Florida's lack of state income tax adds another layer of relief, making the financial picture as sunny as the climate. Amenities are solid and growing. The city has hospitals, clinics, and easy access to larger medical centers nearby. Shopping is abundant, with everything from big-box convenience to local boutiques. Restaurants serve up fresh seafood, Cuban sandwiches, and the occasional all-you-can-eat buffet that feels like an athletic challenge. And with spring training baseball in town, there's built-in entertainment for sports lovers. Nature keeps the pace balanced. The St. Lucie River and surrounding preserves offer boating, kayaking, and hiking, while the nearby beaches make it easy to trade sneakers for flip-flops. Wildlife sightings are part of daily life, with iguanas sunning themselves on driveways like they're waiting for HOA approval. Summers bring the usual Florida humidity, but winters are so mild that snow feels like a distant rumor. Port St. Lucie's unique spark is its balance of affordability and growth. The drawback? Development happens quickly, so it sometimes feels like a new subdivision pops up overnight. But if your biggest complaint is that your city is becoming more popular, you've probably chosen the right spot to retire. Now, I need you to do me a favor. Click that subscribe button now, so I can keep making these videos. That way you also won't miss any future episodes. Go ahead and drop a comment below to let me know which coastal town caught your eye, or if I skipped your favorite hidden gem. Retirement planning doesn't have to feel like a math exam with palm trees in the background. With the right town, you can enjoy ocean breezes, friendly communities, and a lifestyle that doesn't eat your savings alive. And honestly, who doesn't want to brag about grilling in January while the rest of the country scrapes ice off windshields? That's it for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Hopefully from somewhere with sand between my toes and Wi-Fi that actually works.